When fans think of Tony Angelo, they picture the fearless driver, the master builder, and the MotorTrend star who could turn junkyard parts into roaring machines. But behind the smoke, speed, and success, there's a story that few truly know, a story of pain, resilience, and a fight for survival that nearly cost him everything. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Tony Angelo's life after a devastating crash, a kidney failure scare, and the dramatic decisions that reshaped his entire future. Tony's story begins like the dream of any gearhead. Back in 2016, life seemed picture perfect. His first child had just been born, and though his career with Roadkill and Hot Rod Garage kept him constantly in the air, flying 15 to 17 times a year to film, he was living the dream. But behind that excitement was a growing tension. The constant travel pulled him away from home, away from the newborn he adored. For Tony, being a father wasn't just another title, it was his ultimate calling. The tug-of-war between his passion for cars and his duty as a dad had already begun. By 2018, life was about to change again. His wife was pregnant with twins, and with that came double the joy and double the responsibility. In November that year, Tony welcomed two beautiful baby girls into his family. But almost immediately, one of them faced life-threatening health challenges. Within months, this tiny infant was undergoing a major liver operation. At just 3 months old, she proved herself to be a warrior, surviving surgery with a strength that would inspire her father for years to come. Then came 2020, the year that turned the world upside down. As COVID shut down productions and left careers in limbo, Tony faced something far more terrifying at home. His daughter's condition worsened, and the only option left was a full liver transplant. Imagine the horror of watching your not even 2-year-old slip further into illness, knowing the only hope lay in the hands of a surgeon. Against all odds, a family donor stepped forward. The transplant went ahead, and once again his little girl defied fate. She survived, and slowly she grew stronger. For Tony, this wasn't just a personal battle, it was a revelation. While fans watched him race, wrench and smile on TV, off camera, he was carrying a weight no one could see. He was a father living in hospitals, juggling flights and fighting exhaustion just to keep his family afloat. And yet he kept going. But the universe wasn't done testing him. In July 2021, while filming in the desert with Lucky Costa, Tony suffered what seemed like a minor accident, a simple fall. No broken bones, no immediate crisis. He shrugged it off. But the next day, agony struck. By noon, he was doubled over in pain, rushed to a hospital, and given news no one expected. One of his kidneys was dying. The fall had caused a traumatic dissection of his renal artery, a freak accident that cut off blood flow and sent his body into crisis. Think about that. One misstep on desert rocks, and suddenly the man known for outdriving danger was staring down the possibility of losing his kidney, and possibly his life. The treatment was grueling. Blood thinners, a heart monitor strapped to his chest, strict warnings from doctors about what he could and couldn't do. And yet, unbelievably, Tony still boarded planes. He still flew across the country every other week to film, lugging not only his gear, but also the invisible burden of his fragile health. Every trip was a gamble. Every shoot was a test of endurance. The cracks were showing. By the end of 2021, Tony was stretched to the breaking point. His marriage collapsed under the pressure, and divorce soon followed. For a man who loved his children with every fiber of his being, the idea of being away from them 18 days a month became unbearable. Something had to give, and this time it wasn't going to be his health or his family. Tony made the hardest choice of his career. He walked away from MotorTrend. For fans, the rumors came thick and fast. Did he get fired? Did MotorTrend push him out? Was it overblown engines, creative clashes, or drama with Lucky? Tony has set the record straight. None of those wild conspiracies are true. The real reason was simple. He chose his kids over television. He chose life over burnout. He chose survival. And that decision changed everything. Instead of endless flights and hotel rooms, Tony found himself back home in Pennsylvania, where he belonged. He poured his energy into Stay Tuned, his YouTube channel born in the chaos of the pandemic. What started as a side project quickly grew into a new chapter of his career, one that gave him freedom, flexibility, and a chance to do what he loves without sacrificing his health or family. On Stay Tuned, fans still see the Tony they adore: fast cars, wild projects, and plenty of personality. But this time, it's on his terms. He's built incredible machines, a V12 Mustang, the resurrection of a classic Lincoln, and countless other dream projects. His garage has become his stage, his kids are never far away, and his life finally has balance. But what about his health today? After all, kidney damage, heart monitors, and blood thinners aren't things that simply fade away. The truth is, Tony lives with the memory of that accident every day. While he hasn't publicly detailed every medical update, what we know is that he's managing. He's no longer forced into the punishing travel schedule that once threatened his recovery. He's stable, cautious, and far more in control of his environment. He's learned that life isn't about pushing until you break. It's about knowing when to take the wheel back. What makes Tony's journey even more remarkable is how transparent he's been about the struggles. He hasn't sugarcoated the realities of divorce, the crushing weight of fatherhood under crisis, or the terrifying experience of nearly losing a kidney. In doing so, he's shown fans that even heroes bleed, that behind the roaring engines are real men with real battles. And through it all, his children remain the heartbeat of his story. His daughter, who once lay on an operating table, is now thriving, full of life and laughter. His other girls are growing up with a father who is present, involved, and proud. That's the legacy Tony Angelo is building now, not just on the asphalt, but at home. So where does that leave him today? Tony is healthier, happier, and more grounded than he's been in years. Stay Tuned has crossed over 200,000 subscribers. His builds are hotter than ever, and his bond with his kids is unbreakable. He's still racing, still wrenching, and still entertaining millions, but without the life-threatening sacrifice that once loomed over his every step. Tony Angelo's health update isn't just about a man surviving a crash and kidney trauma. It's about redefining success. It's about realizing that the fastest cars and the brightest lights mean nothing if you can't be there for the people who matter most. And it's about proving that resilience isn't measured in horsepower, but in heart.